My next question as well is for the entire...
Terrence?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed you, Terrence. Forgot we didn't start at the beginning.
Yes, I just think, why want to waste money on everything? Why can't we just enjoy each other? This city is very hard on actors and the like because we're standoffish. It's about time we do some hugging without being arrested. And we just talk. We don't talk. I have neighbors all around me in Clinton Street. They don't talk. I don't even know them. It's about time to start that agenda without cash. We should know our neighborhood and protect ourselves if some strange person comes in. That's more important.
Thank you. I have another question for the entire panel. And Ryan, I don't know where we want to start here, but
We'll start with Eric this time and move down
Okay.
and finish with Paul.
great, thank you. My next question is, what will you do if elected mayor to partner with churches and other faith-based organizations to solve problems within the city?
Well, I've come out very early and talked about that the health of your families is directly related to the health of your city in almost every aspect, and including the attraction and retention of jobs, which is one of the major issues that we're facing. And so, obviously, people have asked me, what does the mayor do about the health of families? Well, first of all, you can partner with your 501c3s to make sure that the information is given to people, that they're making an informed decision. And those are very important things to do, and I would intend to partner very closely. I've already had a meeting with some of our pastors and asked how I can contribute and help as mayor, and I think that's going to be an important thing that the mayor does going forward in making sure that we have happy, healthy families.
Could you repeat the question?
I'd be glad to. If elected mayor, what will you do to partner with churches and other faith-based organizations to solve problems within the city?
I believe in separation of church and state. I don't think that it's a mayor's position to get involved with the dealings of churches. The dealings that the churches have with their people are not affected by government. And I, as mayor, will stay out of anything that has to do with churches.
Okay, Charles?
Well, because there is that separation of church and state, we can't give any taxpayer dollars to them. But I think we can show some leadership by talking with the leaders of the churches to find out what kind of problems can we work to solve with you. And I think Eric probably hit the nail right on the head with his answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I was elected mayor, yes, I would see what the people in the church has to say, especially the ministers and like that. If they can help with the problem that's being done, yes, I would do that, yes.
Thank you.
I would like to see all churches get more involved with social issues, just like the Broadway Christian Church has been doing. They've been doing a great job. I'd like to see more churches do that.
Thank you.
Actually, we can give money to churches and to faith-based organizations. That's not what the First Amendment of the Constitution says. You just can't impose your will on a particular church. That's why this country was founded on those principles. And I think what we need to do is use those faith-based organizations better. They're more efficient. They work from the heart. And we can give dollars to them through community development block grants called CDBG grants, which we don't use now. And we have a huge issue right now that faith-based organizations are working on. It's the Burmese population in the city. Catholic Charities brought them here, and the St. Joe Foundation is working with the city on how to solve the problem and how to get them acclimated.
Terrence?
Okay. I believe that we shouldn't have a church and state, of course. That is how our government is built up. But I do believe in another thing called an open house. Why can't churches, starting June, open their synagogues, their churches, their mosques, and talk to people at a certain time, each Sunday or each Friday, and just discuss. They just need to talk. Fort Wayne doesn't talk. We don't even know our mayor right now. He just goes along in a straight line. We've always done that. It's about time to understand ourselves.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
there's a very active role that social service organizations, churches, and faith-based organizations play in the community right now, in addition to with the Burmese community. They're perfectly situated to address problems that government cannot or will not address. One of the areas that comes top of mind for me is crime. I've always thought we should have a three-pronged approach to that. We do a lot in the justice area, but we need to do more in terms of intervention and prevention. And the social service organizations are much better suited to that.
Thank you. And now I'll shift to questions from the audience. Eric, if you were elected mayor, how do you, as mayor, plan to positively affect issues concerning marriage and family?
Well, as I mentioned, I think it's important to partner with your 501c3s and to make sure that you're doing the best that you can. One of the things I've asked from social service groups beyond our churches is to give me a white paper into the best way that I can help them as mayor. On a practical level, one of the things that constantly happens is we struggle in the 501c3 community to have enough funds. We have a lot of heart and we have a lot of expertise, but having the funds is difficult. And I think the mayor can help even with some fundraising activities to help raise money for these 501c3s.
Thank you. A separate question to Fred. On social issues, how do you differ from the mayor? On social issues, how do you differ from the mayor?
On social issues, it is something that is very dear to my heart. When I moved to Tennessee, I spent 8 years doing volunteer work with different social agencies. I was on the committee for Habitat for Humanity. I served on the Ministerial Alliance Temporary Shelter. I volunteered for 8 years in a food pantry thrift store and worked 2 days a week in a soup kitchen. I devoted my daylight hours to doing something to better the community. The thing that I can do as mayor is to ensure that CDBG fundings are applied for and spent properly.
The next question I have here is, what local nonprofits have you worked with? If so, in what capacity?
None.
Okay, thank you. And looks like time for maybe 2 more questions, possibly. This is for Tom. What do you think is the biggest social issue that faces Fort Wayne right now?
We have a lot of homeless in this town that's being thrown aside because, it's like we got people living along riverbanks, we got people living on the streets, and they're kind of like, okay, there's the rescue mission, but they got rules and regulations that a lot of people don't like to abide by. And I understand rules and regulations are supposed to be there, but some of them are kind of outrageous on what they do. And I notice when it's really cold outside, we have a lot of people sleeping on the streets, and I think it should be, taken care of. And as a mayor, that'd be one of my first things I would try to solve, is to find out what we can do to get that taken care of.
Great, thank you. And actually, for the next 2 candidates, if we have time here, I'd like to ask another question because I think it's a good one. How do you, as mayor, plan to positively affect issues concerning marriage and family?
I have an issue with that because I have never been married. I don't ever want to be married.
Okay, thank you.
Same one.
Same question.
Well, obviously, I think as the mayor, you need to take a stand, and sometimes that can be uncomfortable. You go to the Right to Life March, and you stand up there on stage, and you proclaim how you feel. And those are the important values. We have not seen that from our current mayor. And if it means making a proclamation and issuing it, it doesn't have any legal effect in the city, but I think it shows where we stand, and that's what you do too, because I think you have to make those issues something that everyone understands this is what the city of Fort Wayne stands for.
Great, thank you very much.
Let's have Terrence and Paul answer that one as well to finish the rotation.
exactly is the question that I got lost on?
Sure, no problem. The question is, how would you as mayor plan to positively affect issues concerning marriage and family?
Well, we have a problem with 7 years. And we should change the 7 years. 7 years, if my brother got married the first time, it lasted 7 years. That's a popular one. We had pushing, churches push over the 7. They'll start to love each other a little bit better, talk to each other, forget about the football, forget about the pretty dresses, and start to look at each other for a change.
Thank you.
You know, I think one of the things we can do to positively impact marriage and family in this community is redirect the emphasis of some of our programming to support families. I think specifically of departments like the Parks Department. We have a wonderful park system in this community, and it is well utilized, but it seems to be very individually based. We have a lot of sports activities for kids. We don't have a lot of family involvement, a lot of family programming, and that would just take a simple redirecting of resources. Because we are a family-based community. That is a true part of our value system. I think that the activities of the organization of the city should reflect that.
Thank you.
Ryan, thank you. Allen County Right to Life will represent us in our final segment. Amanda Banks will represent them. She's the Vice President of Allen County Right to Life, whose mission is to protect sanctity of human life from conception until natural death. Amanda is the co-host of I Choose Life Radio Magazine. It's a weekly pro-life radio program heard across the state of Indiana. Mrs. Banks is currently a full-time wife to State Senator Jim Banks, who we met earlier, and mom to 19-month-old Lily, and baby number 2 is on the way coming up in July, so not that far away. Formerly, Amanda worked as communications manager for the American Red Cross, Indiana, Ohio region, and prior to that, she was a federal policy analyst for Focus on the Family. She's a graduate of Indiana University with a major in public affairs. Amanda is a native of Indianapolis and now resides in Columbia City with her family. And Amanda, let's start this one with Fred Oshesky.
Okay. The question that I will ask each of you to answer, that you'll have a minute to do so in, is what will you do as mayor to actively promote a culture of life and help to end abortion in Fort Wayne? Fred?
I'm sorry.
Want me to repeat that? Sure.
You guys' microphone.
That's okay. What will you do as mayor to actively promote a culture of life and help to end abortion in Fort Wayne?
I don't know what a mayor can do as far as anything to do with abortions. I am pro-life. I have been that way all my life. I will continue to do that, and I will continue to support any efforts that are undertaking. I am the 4th degree Knight of Columbus, and we have been working on a prayer and a fast that has saved 3,599 lives and has gotten 43 employees of abortion clinics out of that business. But as far as being a mayor and being able to do anything in those areas, I do not see that that is a position of the mayor.
Thank you. Charles?
I feel that since that's the law, there's really nothing the mayor can do about it. And I do support abortion for rape, incest, and the mother's health. Now, abortion just for abortion's sake, that troubles me. And I don't think as a mayor you can get up in front of people and tell them that if you don't want to have a baby, keep your pants on.
Tom?
I don't think, again, like he just said, I don't think that the mayor should, say anything. I mean, it is the law. And, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm for it, I'm not going to say I'm against it, because I'm kind of, that's a very touchy subject with me. So I would just say that I don't think it's the mayor's, problem at that time.
That's also a very touchy subject for me because my sister had to have an abortion because it's life-threatening as it was. But I would like to know, I asked people in front of the Plymouth Church one day when they were out protesting the abortion clinic downtown, would any of you adopt if they were born? And not one person would say they would.
If It's not the mayor's problem, it's everyone's problem. Abortion affects the social fabric of society, the moral fabric of society. So you use your position, you set an example. If that means being the first one in line at the Right to Life March, you do that. If that means sending out a proclamation on Pro-Life Sunday in October, or on the anniversary of Roe v. Wade in January, you do that. If that means going down to the 40 Days for Life and you stand across the street on Inwood from the abortion clinic, you do that, because appearances matter, and that's what that's what the mayor can do on this issue. And if we don't stand up for what we believe in, and we feel uncomfortable and we're afraid, then who's going to? I mean, you elect us to not be afraid. You elect us to lead you. We're not going to ask your opinion on a decision. You know what I'm going to stand for. Those are the things I stand for, and I'm going to stick my neck out because it's the right thing to do.
Okay, I believe in two. That's one of my favorite numbers, between the mother and God himself. It is nobody goodness except for the two. We don't know where the old man's gone. He's probably too political or whatever. So it's about time for us to talk about what do we need to do. You cannot stop a woman from abortion. She can go to abortionists, which is almost impossible because there's not that many around and they're being bombed and killed and the like. And women are self-eliminating their babies themselves, and we don't want that to happen. I just got to go to a counselor or a church or somebody like that and discuss it, because take the child when full born, I believe we go all through the whole full born, and take it and make sure they have a decent home, but do not go to foster care because it doesn't work. Orphanage is a lot better, but there's hardly any of those around anymore. You just find people and make sure the child knows their parents.
Well, the mayor leads by example, and clearly abortion has been a big topic in this community, and we have done a wonderful job, thanks in large part to the efforts of one woman in this audience tonight, at defeating that tragedy in our community. I mean, there is still work to be done. Our county commissioners approved an ordinance that made it required hospital admitting privileges, and that was a step in the right direction. But I also think, I agree. I can't believe I agree with Liz. The mayor should do those things. I've stood in the marches for life. I've been to the legislative forums. The mayor can go down and lobby on behalf of pro-life legislation. That would be powerful, I believe, at the state legislature, to have a mayor lobbying on behalf of the community on pro-life issues. There are many things that we can do, and it is a part of the heart and soul of the job to do that.
Well, let me just clearly state that both by my faith and by philosophy, I am pro-life. And what I mean by philosophy is I think that how a society protects its innocent says a lot about society. So I think it's very important that we do what we can legally to live by example, to talk at a grassroots level with people. And one of the things I've always said to my friends is just because something is legal doesn't make it moral. The facts are that abortion is legal, but nobody would have to have an abortion. Nobody is required to have an abortion. So we spend a lot of time at the grassroots level talking with people. I think we also go to the Right to Life functions. We lead, again, by example. I agree with that. And we also do anything that we can to have creative ordinances that makes it difficult for life to be taken, because it is our obligation and responsibility to do the best that we can to protect